to okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Black Women Leaders Global Network, Career, Passion, and Purpose. Wearing my glasses today because I started off with them. I don't know if any of you have this problem. If I don't use them all day, I don't usually need them, but because I was reading small writing earlier, now my eyes are like, well, we got used to those glasses. Can we keep wearing them? And this is where I am. Welcome, everyone. I am Coach Vuyanzi Rodman. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being a part of the group. Apologies for going on about 45 minutes earlier than usual. There was just some mix up in my schedule. As a rule, we will be going on at the top of the hour, which is right now 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 7 p.m. East African Time. So this is part one, and we're calling this Money Miracles, Cultivating Consistency for Financial Abundance. Shout out to Tina in the group who suggested this as our topic, and why not? We love talking about money, don't we? Don't we? And so I want to say this, right? It's Money Miracles, Cultivating Consistency for Financial Abundance. We can listen to how to make $1 million every day. But if our programming is to make $50,000 a year, then that's where our programming is. And we can listen to those podcasts, watch those YouTubes, read those books until we are blue in the face and still not make above that. Why? Because you haven't cultivated the ground. Today is about cultivation. If you think about in farming, I love the fact that I use farming because I don't know anything about it, but this is what I do know. When we talk about cultivating ground before you plant something, that is preparing the ground, that is getting it ready. So as much as we want to talk about consistency in making money, we have to make sure that we are prepared so that we can even be able to receive it. If you're here today, type the word money in the chat. Welcome to those of you who are here joining me today. And if you type in money in the chat, that means that you are ready. If you join me on the replay, make sure you put #replay. Before I go on, I just want to remind you about this group. This group is a very minimalistic group, and that is done on purpose. Many of you average 10, 20, 30 groups. One day I looked and I was a part of over 100 groups. I had to start taking myself out of those groups because the purpose of this is one area right now, and that is building you up as Black women leaders, right? Black Women Leaders Global Network. It'll be nice to expand a bit, but I don't want this to become a group where we're just dropping our links down, right? This is about giving and receiving. This is about giving and receiving. What can you give? Well, anyway, today I'm giving my time on this live to you. And as usual, I want to make it quick because sometimes we have short attention spans. So let me know where you're joining us from today. So again, we're cultivating the land, or we're cultivating your mind for financial abundance. And so a couple of things in order to get the ground ready. I want to just quickly talk on need versus want. Need versus want. How many of you, and if this is you, make sure you say that's me. How many of you have said, oh, all I need is, let's say $100,000 a year and I'm good. That's all I need. But listen, do you need it or do you want it? Because really many of us, if you think about what we needed, we really need the bare minimum. We need to eat and we need a place to lay our head. And quite frankly, if you live in an area with nice weather, technically, you don't need a solid roof over your head. You could sleep under a cardboard box. So let's just move out of that habit of talking about what we need. Let's talk about what it is that you desire, what it is that you truly want. And here's this other part. If you feel like what you want isn't something that's normally accepted. So let's say you say, you know, I really want to make $3.5 million a year. Let's just say you really want that. There's something inside of us that feels the need to have to justify it, right? Like if you say that to another person, some of you feel a little bit funny, like, well, I have to justify why I want that. And maybe I can't really justify it, but who cares? Who cares? So I want you to do your best to start abandoning that part where you're saying, oh, I just need this and I'm good. Now just talk about what you want. If you want an embarrassment of wealth in your life, then so be it. That's what you want. You don't need to explain why you want it to me. Of course, there needs to be a motivation for it, but you don't need to explain that to anyone. Also, desire versus desperation. As we talk about money today, I want you to reflect to yourself, am I desiring it or am I feeling desperate for it? Why? Why am I even saying this? Because I want you to remember something. Energy, type in the word energy. Type in the word energy. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. If you are going to be pursuing wealth and abundance in your life and you're desperate for it, that energy will seep out into that. And you will get it in that way. If you are desperate, it could slip through your fingers because you're desperate. Oh my gosh, this leads to another thing, because I'm thinking about when you have to separate yourself from the outcome of what it is that you desire. That's like a whole nother thing on the law of attraction. And then finally, I want us to consider this, our contentment around what we do have. So there's this verse, and I didn't get it, that Paul says, it's in the scriptures. And he said, in everything, I've learned to be content. I've learned to be content when there was feast. I've learned to be content when there was famine. And I encourage you right now, where you are, while you're here because you are desiring more in your life. Thank you so much, Latasha, because you're desiring more right now, learning to be content with this, and that in your contentment, you can still desire more. So I'd love for us to do an exercise together. If you can, if you're driving, don't do this. If you're not in a safe space, don't do this. But I want you to close your eyes for a moment. Go ahead and close your eyes and just relax your mind and your body. Take a couple of inhales and exhales. And I want you to, with your body, when I say this word, I want you to do the first thing that comes up for your body. So close your eyes and with your body, do the first thing that comes up when I say this word. Okay, I hope you're ready. Money. What did your body just do? I would love to know what your body just did. When I said money, did your body automatically do this? Like some type of jerking tight move? When I said money, did you raise up your hands and smile? Come to me, money. What did you do when I said the word money? I want you to make a note of that. Hopefully you're taking some notes today. I want you to make a note of that. Why? Because when you just go with whatever your body felt, that is your subconscious programming coming out about what you feel about money. So Latasha said her arms were raised up. Great. I would say to anyone who had an open body that you are ready to receive. Anyone who got a shuddering, close body effect, that's where we need to uncover that and unlayer that. So we're starting right there. We're thinking about the consistency, right? So that means vibrating in the consistency of what you truly want. I love a couple of verses in there's Proverbs 23. It says, all hard work brings a profit, but mere talk leads to only poverty. We talk about money all the time, but are we truly doing the work to get the money that we want? So for instance, I see Latasha said 2.5 million. So I'm just using this as an example, not with you per se, Latasha. So when we're thinking about hard work, and by the way, I don't like the term hard work, but for the sake of the Proverbs, let's think about what hard consists of. I'm not going to say hard work consists of us doing labor till we're tired. Like right now, today, I will admit I'm tired, but not talking about, oh, we got to do this until we're tired. The hard work is here in the mind. The hard work is here in the mind. Why do I say that? Because it's hard? No, but do we make it hard? Yes. So we think about the talk that we're doing when it says again, but mere talk leads only to poverty. We can say we want it, but what is the hard work to get to the $2.5 million per year? What comes up for me is this: who do you need to become in order to start getting that kind of money on a consistent basis? In Ecclesiastes, we're thinking about consistency too. In Ecclesiastes, it says, invest in 7 ventures, yes, in 8. You do not know what disaster may come upon the land. So if you've heard someone say, well, in the Bible, it says, make 7 streams of income, absolutely. And he even goes on to say, I believe that was Solomon who wrote Ecclesiastes. He goes on to say, you know, maybe even 8. So let's think about what that consistency means. So how do we even develop, right? It's the mind, but how do we even develop that mindset in that consistency in aiming for those financial goals? I'm going to say things here that you already know, but if you're not doing them, then that means it's time to go back and do the hard work and not just talk about it, but to be about it. So educate yourself. So right now, tell me the top podcasts, books, I was going to say, or tapes. Oh my gosh, how old am I? Top podcasts, books, YouTube that you're educating yourself with on a consistent basis about money. Those of you who are here, those of you here now or on the replay, write down the top 3 things that you're doing to educate yourself on a consistent basis. If we're talking about this creating financial abundance and financial consistency, then first is about the education. What are you doing to educate? And when I say educate, it's not just the academia side, but even the hard work, the mindset change, specifically around wealth and abundance. And by the way, I use those 2 separately. I'm right now because wealth, and even when we say abundance, we can expand on that. I know this is about money, but if you want an abundance of love in your life, if you want an abundance of beautiful relationships in your life and so forth. So educating yourself. There is a book. Now, I just listened to a sample of it. I'm not going to listen to it right now, so I'm not even going to act like, oh, it's in my wish list, but there's some other things ahead of it. But it's Rachel Rogers, a book that's called We Should All Be Millionaires. Go back to, if I'm not there yet, there must be something, a frequency that I'm not vibrating on. So in order to consistently get wealth, consistently educate, consistently begin to change my mindset, even though I may be saying, I love money, I attract money, but if it's not there, then there's something blocking it. So Rachel Rogers, We Should All Be Millionaires. A way to educate yourself. I love watching a woman named Cody Sanchez. You type her in, Codie Sanchez. She's all over YouTube, and she's really giving practical ways for people like us to buy businesses. I mean, she's giving some amazing statistics about the transfer of wealth with baby boomers getting older and retiring their businesses, what you are able to do. Again, we're talking about educating. When you listen to these people, you listen to their mindset change, consistency, education, mindset change, consistency, education. There's a podcast, but I watched the YouTube version of it. I'm just naming a few examples. Diary of a CEO. Yes, many of us here have our own businesses and we may call ourselves CEOs, but if we're not in the abundance, wealth frequency that we want to be, there is something that needs to change. Educating yourself. So when I think about my personal money experiences, I take the 7 streams or even 8 very seriously. It doesn't mean having 7 jobs. It doesn't mean having 7 jobs. Let's think about streams of income, even educating yourself on what is active income versus passive income. The active income, meaning me coaching, me doing, well, really, I basically coach or doing some consulting training. That's active income. I have to do that in order to make that come in. But what am I doing for the passive income? So that when I wake up tomorrow, there's compounding interest in my accounts that I didn't have to work for per se. I mean, there's some work involved, but that I didn't have to labor for. So for me, I've found one of my ways, my streams of income is through investing in some stocks. I've started off small and I'm increasing that slowly. Okay, what am I doing? It's not just the increasing of the money, but as I increase my belief, right? I increase what I'm putting in, I'm expanding. That's what this is about. This is about the hard work, expanding the mind. That's passive income, those stocks. The other right now that's really bringing in the 5% compounded interest per week is metaverse certificates. I've invested little over 1,000 right now, and that's increasing in that. And so that's coming in, and I just click a couple of buttons for that. And that's passive coming in. Next, I'm in another country. So for me, next is real estate. I've had real estate before. That no longer is there because I sold that, but now reinvesting in real estate. So even thinking, what is your mindset around passive income and active income? We're talking about getting the ground prepared for wealth, talking about getting the ground prepared for wealth. And then finally, oh my goodness, time goes so fast. Have to get ready to end this here. So finally, I want you to also begin to think about this, right? You're educating. How do you, right, with this education and the mindset, how do you begin to attract this? Well, we have examples all around us. A person that comes up for me is Melody Hobson, Mell. She has 2 L's in her name, Melody Hobson. And she is, the way she talks about money is absolutely amazing. A Black woman that I like to watch and I like to listen to. What is Oprah Winfrey doing? Yes, we like to listen to her, but let's pay attention and watch her as a wealthy woman who was not born into wealth. Neither was Melody Hobson. Also, even listening to a podcast called Your First Million. This is just examples. There's other things. But if you're like, I don't know where to start, okay. Attracting wealth. What are these people doing? Arian Hamilton. Your First Million, I think the podcast is called. So thinking about what are people doing, look at their ways, look at their talk, look at their habits, compare them to where you are. What did I say before? Who do you need to become? So we're talking today just about cultivating the land. We've talked about need versus want, desperation versus desire, educating yourself, passive versus active, looking at specific people and what they're doing and their habits and how they talk about wealth, and really looking at all of that and seeing where you are versus where you truly want to be. So here's what I want you to do. Here's your homework assignment. I want you to begin to reframe that thought process to start shifting the frequency to the money that you want to make. You can start off with, well, first of all, how do you do that? We need to get to the root of the problem. Why aren't you there? Why aren't you there yet? So reframing that, and let's switch it. Getting to the root of the problem, number one, and then beginning to reframe that. You can begin by simply saying this before you go to sleep. Abundance is all around me. Abundance is all around me. Abundance is all around me. Simply saying that and drift off into sleep. Don't look at your phone. Put your phone down. You just say it like 3 times. Abundance is all around me, and just lay down and go to sleep. Just do that every night, and see what begins to happen when you wake up the next day and how you see things and how you see opportunities. We want to see what the root is and begin that reframing. 2 things I want you to do. Feel free to DM me with some of what happened with you, what opened up for you. DM me with thoughts around that. Maybe you came up with your own affirmation before you go to sleep. Before you go to sleep is a time that the mind is really open to receiving. So saying these things right before you drift off is really important. So we've covered a lot of things today. There weren't like 3 points. There were a lot of things that we just covered. And next week, we're going to go on to part 2. So if you're sitting here saying, okay, this is great, but I really want some help getting to the root of that, or maybe you even know the root, but you are having trouble ripping out the root in order to reframe, then let's strategize together. How do you increase the abundance in your life to begin to attract money on a consistent basis first? Okay, that's all I got. What are you getting from this? What did you get from this today? What did you get from this today? Go ahead and give me 1 word with what you got from this today. Okay, Queen, I look forward to seeing you for part 2. I have a feeling there may be more parts, but we'll see. Mwah. Talk to you later.